Hello guys, I'm going to go over some of the information you are going to use in your activity 2. So in this activity there are a lot of new terms and a lot of information that might be new to you. So hopefully this video is going to be helpful for you to start processing these terms. So starting with elements. So in this activity you are going to have some experience testing physical properties of some elements. So I'm going to start with the first definition of element as the simplest pure substance. For example, hydrogen, oxygen, or aluminum, copper, iron, and carbon, which are the elements that you are going to be experiencing today. All right, so here in this table, I have the periodic table of elements. So these are all elements known, and remembering that this is the pure substance. So when you talk about materials, not all the time you're talking about elements, because some materials are made of a combination of elements. All right, so in here we have all of them, and as I mentioned, we are going to be dealing with 4 elements today, pure substances. So I'm going to start with this one over here, and this is a piece of iron. So just gonna put by the name on the periodic table. So iron is number element 26 right here. I also have a little sample of copper, and I also have carbon. Sorry, I also have aluminum, and I also have carbon over here. All right, so if you need help to identify them, that's how you would know. All right, so carbon, be very gentle, because if you try to bend as you can do on the other ones, you could break. So please don't be too rough with this. All right, so these are the elements you are going to be testing, and as I said, you are going to be testing their properties. All right, so let's start with what do I mean by properties. So properties are characteristics of materials. So there are different properties, and we can separate them as chemical properties and physical properties. In this activity, I want you to focus in the physical properties only, okay? And by that, I mean that is a property that can be identified or measured and does not rely on testing if the material reacts with another substance like color. So here are some examples. Stuff that I can see or hear, feel, touch, smell, measure. These are all physical properties because does not rely on some sort of reaction. All right, so the first physical property that you guys are going to be working with, if I can adjust my focus here, perfect. All right, is the state. So as for right now, all you have to know is there are 3 physical states that can be solid, liquid, and gas. Okay, so when you are analyzing these elements in your data table, all you have to say is what state of matter it is, solid, liquid, or gas. All right, the next one is the appearance, and for this one, it's just observations of what you can see. So you can make points about the color, and if it's shiny or dull, and if you can see through or it seems to reflect more light or absorb more light, things like that. Next one would be malleability. So this might be a term that you are not super familiar with. So malleability is easier way to put it is the flexibility of a material. But not only flexibility. If I see this card in here, it can be very flexible. But if I get the piece of copper, it is flexible too. But unlike the paper, it doesn't get back to the position. So if I bend, it will stay in this position. If I bend the other way, we will also stay. And that's why I say the metals tend to be very malleable, because they are not only flexible, but they also stay in the position, in the shape when I bend them. Some metals will be more malleable than others, but malleability is a physical property very characteristic of metals. All right. The next is solubility. So this can be defined as the ability to dissolve in water. So here there is an illustration of a tube with a solution that could be water, and if you add solids to it, sometimes the solid are dissolved into water. An example, it could be if you ever done hot chocolate, you use the pounder and mix with liquid, and then the solid tends to dissolve. Okay, so you are going to test by placing these elements in water. And last but not least, density. So the density is defined as the mass of a substance per unit volume, especially grams per cubic centimeter or grams per millimeter. So it's pretty much the mass, the amount of matter per volume. And in the future, you are going to be dealing more with density, and you are going to be calculating density. For this activity, all it matters is either the material can float or sink in water. This will tell us if it's either less dense than water or more dense than water. All right? So as usual, if you have questions, please let me know. And I hope you have fun.